Today we're building a real man's miter saw station. You think you need the workshop equivalent of the Starship Enterprise? Well, listen here, space boy. You can take your expensive Baltic Birch electrificated digital laser Craig system and get out of here. What? You don't have a miter saw station? Maybe that's 'cause some sissy boy made you think it has to be hard. Real man's miter saw station can do everything theirs can and more. Stick around and I'll show you how to build it, if you're man enough.
Daddy, that's not funny.
We're about to build the most versatile miter station you've ever seen. At least I think so. It's also going to be the easiest to build and the least expensive. This is a solution for real men, handy women, and even sissy boys.
No!
If that's a term you identify with for some reason. I'm going to modify these old workbenches that aren't getting much use these days. They're based on Anna White's easy workbench design, and I'll link her free plans below, but I encourage you to use something you already have. You'll need 2 work surfaces of the same height and with legs you can screw or bolt into. You could even use an old table, cut it in half, and fasten each half to the wall with a scrap of 2x4. Or build the Starship Enterprise. I don't care. My benches are each 4 feet long, but one of them has a cantilevered section at the end, so I'm going to cut that off, leaving it at 3 feet, which is going to be plenty. As you're going to see later, this bench has the ability to hold down work in a way that most don't. These tables are too tall for a miter saw bench, so I'm going to cut off about 7 inches from the legs before I put the top back on. Fortunately, when I built this, I used screws for everything, so it's nothing to take it apart and put it back together again. And these leveling feet were a steal from Amazon at 8 for like $20. I'll put an affiliate link down below. After leveling the benches, the next thing we're going to do is make a platform between them. This is going to hold the miter saw and connect everything together. I put the table of the miter saw maybe a 1/16 of an inch above the work surface of my tables. That's for several reasons. 1, my work pieces are rarely flat. 2, wooden benches have seasonal movement. And 3, I want to be able to use the surface of the miter saw as my reference for critical cuts. For the same reason, this miter saw station will not have a permanent fence. If a board is bowed, I want it tight against the metal fence of the miter saw rather than at a 0.5 feet away. The Wood Whisperer has a great video on the benefits of a fenceless system that's worth checking out. But maybe you want the best of both worlds. Well, hang on. I'm adding this support board to the bottom of my bench because we're going to use, are you ready for it? Holdfasts. Holdfasts have been used since at least the 1st century AD. You know what that means. Jesus himself probably used these. You'll need at least 2.5 inches of support for a holdfast to work right, so I added a support board to make the top thicker. I drew a line parallel to the miter saw's fence and drilled holes behind the line. Here's what that does. You want a fence? Bam, you got a fence. You need a stop? Bam, you got a stop. Need to hold down a workpiece that's too long for your bench? Bam, no problem. Need to plane a 10-foot board to practice for one of those crazy Japanese planing competitions? Well, here you go. And the modification possibilities are virtually endless. I've added a board here for working on the side of pieces like you might see in an English jointer's bench. It's beautiful, man. I mean, it's kind of ugly, but it's just beautiful.
And that's how you build a real man's miter station.
Oh, Daddy, that looks great.
Well, thanks, Pumpkin. We'll see you next time.